Hi, this is Wendy Schott with Wavemaker Software. I'm going to build a stock web application consuming an Xignite web service in less than 5 minutes using these 4 easy steps to demonstrate how you too can use the Wavemaker Visual Ajax Studio 4.0 to consume web services and build great-looking Ajax web applications. Let's get started. We'll open the studio, create a new project, and we'll be on our way. Step 1, designing a page. Once you start a new project, you're going to enter the studio into the designer. Here you can drag and drop widgets off of the palette onto your page. I'm going to use some widgets from our new palette, the template palette. I'm going to add a title bar, a 2-column, and a footer to get our application started quickly. Once the templates are on the page, you can edit them or change them any way you'd like. We'll change the title to Web Service Demo. We'll fill in the blank space to the right with a picture widget, and I'll give it a source to load the Xignite logo. Once the logo is there, I can resize it to make sure it fits. Then, over on the left-hand side, this is where the user is going to enter the stock symbols. We'll add an editor widget, we'll give it a new name, input stock symbol, and we'll give it a caption, enter stock symbol. Once we have the caption on it, we can resize its parent panel to make sure the caption fits. Once we have an input, we now need a button for the user to push. We're going to use the existing buttons from the template. We'll drag and drop them to the bottom, remove the buttons we don't need, and then we can realign the button to the right, change its caption to get quotes, and we can auto-size it to make sure the entire caption fits. Once the button's in place, over to the right-hand side, all we need now is a grid to display the results from the get quotes. Step 2, importing a web service. Once your page is designed, select Create Web Service Import from the main menu. This will take us to the Web Service Import screen, where we need to provide the URL for the WSDL we'd like to execute. Here I'll grab the Xignite WSDL for the Get Quotes web service. We'll paste it in, click the Import button, and now the web service will be imported. Once imported, we'll see a new service that's available to our application called Xignite Quotes. Underneath there, you'll see all of the operations available from this web service. In this case, we're going to use the Get Quotes operation. Underneath, you can see that this operation takes in a few inputs. It takes in a symbol, a password, and a username, and it returns a list of quotes with the following fields. Now that we have it imported and we know which one we want to call, it's time to return to the designer. Finding a service variable to a page. Once our web service is imported, we need to make it available to our page. We do this by adding a service variable. A service variable allows us to make a single call to a single operation on our web service. Here we'll call it Get Quotes. We want to execute the Xignite Quotes service, and we want to call Get Quotes. Once we have the service variable in place, we can set the values for its inputs. Here we need to set the username and password, which will allow us to execute this web service. So we'll bind the username to the username field. We'll enter a password and bind that as well. The next thing we need to do is to bind the inputs. So this particular web service takes some symbols as an input. So we'll bind the symbol field to that input we added on our page earlier to its data value. Now the next thing we need to do is tell the application that when we click the Get Quotes button on the onClick event to go and execute that Get Quotes service call that we just created. Once it's executed, we'll tell it to bind its result set to our actual grid so we can display the results. Here we'll just select the quotes list and bind that to our grid. Once the grid is in place, we can actually rearrange the columns that it added by simply going to the model, finding the grid widget, and then selecting the columns that we'd like to reorder. In this case, we'll put the symbol column in the first column, and we'll put the name in the second column. Now we're ready to test run our application. Step 4, running your application. Once your application is complete, simply go to the top menu and click the Run button. This is going to allow you to preview your application in a new browser window. Once the new window has launched, you're ready to test run your application. Simply enter in a few stock symbols, click the Get Quotes button, and voila, you get results from your web service. It couldn't be any easier. So what are you waiting for? Get started today with Wavemaker's Visual Ajax Studio 4.0. You can download it at www.wavemaker.com/download or join our community at dev.wavemaker.com. Thanks, and we hope you have a great day.